my stand in the thing, he forgot. Now see the way I'm holding my thing.
Can you not beat anyone?
In Africa, we have to beat our younger ones so they have sense. They say that's the only way we can have sense. And look at the whole country. As they don't beat us rich. As they beat us rich, look the whole country. You are not beating us well, we need to beat us harder because obviously this beating is not working or it's not enough.
Alrighty, it is 4 minutes past 11. A very, very good morning. Happy Friday. It is a fantastic, fun-filled Friday right here on Lagos Talks 91.3. And of course, it's time for the midday show with me, Ifunaya. On Fridays, we start with an absolute bang, giving you a lowdown on all that has happened throughout the week on your favorite show, The People's Perspective. Of course, my unequivocal co-host, Seun Kuti, is in the studio.
We still got the TPP, they know we, happy to be here today, as usual. Country people, Lagos people, how are they?
We're good. How's it going with you?
I'm fine, I'm alive, when the town is energized politically, for me, I'm always, happy about that.
Yeah.
It's like my battery is charged.
Fantastic. Anyways, I'm sure it's going to be charged some more because we have a bunch of things to talk about, especially trending in Nigeria. So we're going to start off with the...
No, wait, before we start, you know what? Like, this is our 10th episode now. And in the 10th episode, I've not said Uncle Chris Obosi's name once to say, thanks for putting me on the radio. I know it took a year of I'm twisting him, but he finally came around, and I'm happy to be on the radio. I'm really happy, and this is just to say thanks, after the 10th episode.
Well, it's never too late. So thank you, Uncle Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having us on the radio.
And of course, the listeners are even thanking you more.
Now get mine pass. Now get mine pass. Yeah. Big up, 3 Bosa.
Oh yeah, no.
Bosa. Your employment here is more tangible than mine.
Alright guys, let's get into the show. We're going to start off with the budget presentation. The President Buhari, presented a budget of 13.08 trillion to the National Assembly.
If I see that kind of money for ground now.
The President also allocated 128 billion for the National Assembly. And remember, this is 2021. And this is a rise on the 125 billion naira budgetary allocation in past years. So I believe that this is a good starting point for this particular conversation.
You know why there is a 3 billion increase?
Why?
This Senate has done so much to bring extra hardship on the Nigerian people. Like no Senate in the history of Nigeria, no assembly, of men have gathered to bring this much hardship, and then to add corona, that there was corona outside. Then these men were able to conceive such hardship upon Nigerians. The president was like, you deserve a raise. I mean, the work you are doing here, you deserve 3 billion naira. How much did they allocate for education? The whole Nigeria to educate us is how much?
Need to get that. But before we actually do get that, just taking a look at what's been going on in Nigeria, from the subsidy removal, right, to Nigeria saying that we do not have money. Remember, we were highlighting that... Wait.
Sorry. There's 121 billion for capital projects. So, National Assembly is collecting more money than all the capital projects. Listen, this is the budget they said they wanted to increase fuel and lights to finance. This is the budget. Nigeria, you people, they are taking you people for a laugh.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a laugh.
Terrible, but why do you think? Why do you think? Because I always call this daylight robbery. Why do you think that this daylight robbery, meaning that they are robbing Nigeria right in front of our faces, but we still aren't doing anything about it, or nothing is still being done about it? And it seems like yearly it keeps on increasing. Why do you think they have been getting away with this?
It is how it's sold to us, This is what I'm saying. So there are not enough people on the radio. There are not enough journalists. There are not enough influencers using the word state capture in Nigeria. I mean, and I'm telling you, I said, in Nigeria, you can go to school from GS1, from primary 1 to SS3, and never hear the word oppression in your class. Injustice, human rights abuse, never uttered from a single teacher. So all these things are deliberate. to make you think that this is normal. They are normalizing criminality and oppression and injustice. They are normalizing it, making us feel, oh, this is how people are. No, this is how certain people are. And there are a minority of people who have been able to gather more influence that is due to them, and even more than they deserve in our society, you know. And so this is what comes out of that, you know. So you have people who sit down and say they are serving the nation, but use the nation's resources to capture the wealth. I mean, they use the authority that has been given to them by the people to capture the wealth of those people. So this budget, I actually went through it a bit yesterday, and when Buhari was reading it, they actually burst out laughing at us in the National Assembly. They laughed at us yesterday. I was watching it on TV. If you think I'm lying, go and watch it again. As soon as Buhari said National Assembly, because he had read education, and
education is actually 545 billion naira, whilst health is 380 billion.
Exactly. So he had read it, and he had read human rights. So this is the health for 200 million people is 545 billion. The education.
The education is 545 billion, and then health is
380 billion for 200 million people. Then the less than 1,000 people that are in maybe 1,000, just a bit over it. Are they up to 1,000 in National Assembly? I don't think they're up to 1,000, but whatever. Even though they're over 1,000, only these few people have 128 billion for themselves. So that is pure state capture. You can see it happening right before your eyes, you know. And this education, most of the budget is not to build new schools or build new libraries. I'm telling you, it's to pay salaries to the people that they've put there. In the health department, it's the same thing. It's not as if it's to train the doctors to be better or give you better services. It's to pay salaries to the people in the ministry and all these contracts that they do that we do not, that nobody is made to finish. You know, when you get contracts in Nigeria these days, I don't think it's a must to finish it. The end of the contract is when it's allocated, as you can see in NDDC scandal. You know, so these are the words that we must always notice. So this budget is is about 9 trillion. 5 point something trillion is for paying recurrent expenditure. No. I mean, is for 5 point something trillion of the budget actually goes to salaries and remunerations and all of that. Then another 3 point something is going to our debt servicing. So together, that's about 9 trillion of recurrent expenditure, you know. So all these capital projects and everything, and all the things that are for social services and whatever, you know, goes to about 4 trillion of the budget, you know. So 2/3, you know, is just every year. So that's the budget that they told us that they want to fund by increasing hardship on the poor people of Nigeria, you know. So this is what they are using our blood for, you know, as we can see.
How can this come to an end, Seun? I mean, like, the fact that we can see clearly that they are marking out this ridiculous to people in government who ought to be making life better for the citizenry. How can this come to an end? Because we have complained. You know, is complaining enough? Is us actually highlighting the obvious enough?
No, it is not. It is not. We have to, as I said, Nigerian people must organize to wrest power away from our oppressors. You know, I mean, if there are two, I always feel like there are two things that you must decide. If you feel like this system is one that is fair and truly one that can make you achieve your best self, then by all means, you know, go for it. Be loyal to it. Do your best to keep it going. But if this system is negative to you and you feel like it has to change and doesn't represent you and will not help you achieve your potential, it is your right as a human being to subvert it, to do everything that you can to topple it, you know. And we're in a democracy. So, I mean, we can organize and peacefully, democratically shift this country towards the people of Nigeria. You know, but if people that are complaining about Nigeria do not want to get up from their beds and meet in town hall meetings, if politicians say you are not worthy of them to come and talk to, won't you say you are worthy to talk to yourselves? I mean, so I always feel like as soon as we take our nation seriously You know, we don't just waste our energies, but we actually use it to build things that will help us to become more influential in the running of our country. Then think that's the only way things can get better. You know, we cannot beg our way out of this. You know, you can't beg your way out of, you can't protest your way out of oppression. You know, I mean, our forefathers protested, you know, our grandfathers protested, our fathers protested. Now we are protesting, but as we can see, nothing is changing. You know, without a political alternative, nothing will change. You can only protest to people that care about you and they will listen. You know.
And I believe a lot of orientation and reorientation, also enlightenment, because from what we just discussed right now, we to an extent demystified what this budget, you know, is highlighting. You did make, you know, reference to the fact that they are allocating 128 billion for less than 1,000 people. They are about 400 or so. You know, and this is according to Prodigy on
there you
Twitter.
Go.
And
they're never up to, far from 1,000. They're up to 500.
From 1,000, and then the amount of money that they are allocating towards health and towards education.
I say they bust out laughing.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I believe that even beyond people just seeing that there is hardship around, people need to understand. They need to demystify and break down the fact that these people that we put in these positions of governance are outrightly robbing us. People need to be educated and enlightened. People don't understand what it means for them to have, because you might hear 500 and something billion and you're just like, oh wow, education will get better, but you don't know. Like you mentioned, it's not about building new schools, it's not about training the teachers, it's about paying salaries
and their cronies,
meaning that there's a possibility that the health sector, even come 2021, will still be the same way it is today.
And wait, don't think it's the salary of the professors really in the school. It's in the Ministry of Education. You understand? The minister and his 500,000 aides and his security, and I mean the way people live on us, you know.
I think people need
furniture allowance, this one, that one.
About it. So that even when we are going out to protest and to demand, we know what we're demanding. Because a lot of people may not even understand what's going on. They're just joining the pack, which is good, you know, because we have power in our numbers. But we need to go a step further to understand, listen, this is what is going to affect your children, your children's children. This is how it's going to affect you security-wise, you know, health-wise, education-wise. We need to demystify it and further enlighten.
And we also have to understand how oppressors, well, as I like to call them in Nigeria, downpressors, because they are not yet, the oppressors are their masters. The African ones have not done what it takes to be an oppressor. They are still downpressors because they want to keep their people down. So they are the downpressors because they press us down. You know, many of them, there's internal fighting always in every society among the elites, you know. So many of them are now out of the eating. It would be a shame for us as Nigerian people that we are fighting for a better Nigeria without creating the platform to manifest it. Then these same downpressors that are cast out now will now use our energies to galvanize votes for themselves to come back again. That would be the worst tragedy ever, you know, in this country, because we cannot keep fighting for these people. Because historically, we have to understand, when you hear Nigerian elites talking about how Nigerian independence was handed to them on a platter of gold, it is because that's how it was given to the elites of this country. They betrayed the yearnings of the people that really fought for independence in this country. Nigerian independence was not on a platter of gold. The Aba women's riot and the killing of the over 100 women in Aba, was that platter of gold? Of the coal miners in Enugu that were massacred, was that, I mean, in Lagos, in Abeokuta, poor people were already rising up against colonial rule. The colonial masters knew they could no longer control this government. They now use these Awolowos and Ziks, negotiated with them, and they took over the government and betrayed their people. Is this the Nigeria that Aba women died for? Do you hear their name when they're talking about heroes of Nigeria? Do you hear about the Abeokuta women's name? Do you hear the Lagos women, the coal miners of Enugu, Paimodu, and the rail workers strike of 1945? They won't tell you all those things because they don't want you to know that it is your own parents, your own fathers, your own grandmothers that fought for this country to be free. That they just came to sit down on top of the struggle that those ones have fought for. And they'll do the same if you don't organize yourselves as we didn't organize ourselves then. People will pour on the streets, you fight, and they will just come and pack all the reward. You know, I said, don't worry, we'll do it for you. We'll do it well for you, as they told our grandfathers. We'll do it well for you. And look at us today. Look at us today.
All right. Let's take some calls. If you'd like to join the conversation, please feel free. 0809 234 5913. 0809 222 0913 and also 0809 191 3913. Let's take this. Lagos Talks. Alright, we lost that. This is coming from Francis saying it's TPP. Everybody say yeah.
Yeah. We got a TPP.
He's saying good morning, Ify and Show. You guys make me say TGIF. I agree with you, Seun. We can't protest our way out of this. They won't stop until we approach this through the citizens' democratic process. A platform agreed to all in order to negotiate our ruling and stop all these nonsense that they are doing.
We must stop it.
God bless you guys. Lagos Talks.
Lagos Talks, good morning.
Good morning. Who's speaking, please?
My name is Chief Darlington.
Chief Darlington, all right. Welcome. Let's hear you.
So well done.
Darlington, how buddy?
I did cancel. But there's something we are missing out. The down pressors and the oppressors will continue to remain at the top and have their way. Because the oppressed themselves cannot form a block. They cannot speak in one voice. There are those tools they put in their middle that even make them fight themselves, which is poverty. You see, the references you have made, talking about history, they apparently would never want us to get used to that. Talking about the those you refer to as the down pressors and the oppressors. The worst thing that can happen to a man is when you cannot collectively form a voice and you cannot have a leader to lead the oppressed. Let us take the labor, for instance. The labor is supposed to lead. You mentioned the paramodals of this world. What did they do? They were able to lead the common men.
All right, thank you very much, Chief Darlington. Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking?
Good morning, Nixie.
Who's speaking,
Good
please?
morning, Albert. Everybody talk.
Hey, I finally met Ebuka this weekend. If you couldn't stop us. Hey, Ebuka!
You know what? He actually mentioned this. I was like, oh my goodness, Seun. This is what you're encouraging.
Ebuka is the #1 fan of this show. We have to give him his props.
This is our country here. We go better.
Yes, so.
Down pressure for the oppressors or join. Sisters, they reason the oppressed. Because if you're oppressing the masses and your children are there, who are you cheating? Why are you cheating? Give the oppressor for that using you. So, what you get? Even else is there.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Thank you very much. 080
Ebuka.
2220913. If you want to send a WhatsApp message, please send it to 0809 234 5913. If you want to send a tweet, send it to @Lagos Talks 913. Lagos Talks, good afternoon, or rather, good morning. Who's speaking?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning. Who's speaking? All right, Stanley, very quickly.
Welcome to the show.
All right, Stanley, let's hear you very quickly.
Good morning, everyone. I really want to appreciate Ogachi for what he is doing.
All right.
That's the right way to do it, and he's saying the truth, so we stand by him.
Thank you.
Our problem in this
I stand by you too.
the masses themselves. We are the problem of our own self. Why do I talk like that? Is because, we cannot be united. The people we are talking about, they are very united, even if they are in different parties. They are get together, like what happened last week, the wedding of the Atiku. You see all of them there from different parties here, and they were rejoicing, they were happy, they are, celebrating. But us, we have a kind of fracture within us that we can't really stand to fight these people because we are not united. We can't speak in one voice. We can't. So people will start bringing tribalistic sentiments and different kinds of options that will, at the end of the day, everything will be scattered again. So, but we need to fight. If not, so the oppressor and the oppressor, all of them will continue to be oppressing us every day. That's my humble opinion.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, let's quickly move on to another story. We're going to touch on this very quickly. The former finance minister, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has just recently appreciated Nigerians for supporting her bid for the job of Director General of the World Trade Organization. She has made it to the third and the final stage of the selection process just yesterday, and she put out some words on her Twitter handle saying, "I'm happy to be in the final round of the World Trade Organization DG campaign. Thanks to WTO members for your continued support of my candidacy." And of course, this means that Okonjo-Iweala and
But did she thank Nigerians, really?
She did. She
Really?
said, "I could not have done this without the praise and the support of all Nigerians." She did. She mentioned that. And my friends around the world.
Okay.
And so it means that Okonjo-Iweala and Yo Ming of the Republic of Korea have advanced the final round of the DG for the World Trade Organization. And
South
so,
Korea, Abi. You know, America is great. I like America.
Okay.
America is a great country. It's amazing that two people from two of their disruptive countries, South Korea in Asia and Nigeria in Africa, you know, these disruptive nations that they continue to influence against the interests of their regions all the time, you know, and you guys that they are putting to World Trade Organization is amazing. I mean, it's amazing.
interesting.
It's amazing.
Anyways, what do you think that this actually does mean for Nigeria?
I don't know why
Because
I
she
don't even know why we're talking about it.
She is vying for this position as a Nigerian.
And to do what?
You know,
to help
representation.
WTO oppress African trade, to oppress African trade further. I mean, what benefit does Nigeria gain from being a member of the World Trade Organization other than helping to keep our resource prices low and finished product prices high? I mean, all these things are too annoying to even talk about. I mean, this is 2020 and Nigerians are still praising World Trade Organization or World Bank or IMF, any of these imperialist organizations. That is what they are. That is what they are. You know, I mean, and if we are in 2020 still running around praising these companies, then I don't want to be a part of it. Yeah, woo-hoo, Okonjo-Iweala, but my own is that Okonjo-Iweala was Minister of the Economy or whatever
Finance.
Jonathan gave her. No, they gave her one extra one. She was coordinating minister of the economy. And I know what she left in 2015. Maybe people have all forgotten. Nah. You know, the way of you quickly forget. But I know what Nigeria was when she was leaving on the 28th of May, 2015. I know how Nigeria economy was. Okay? And that one concern me. Not be waiting. They won't give her for World Trade Organization.
Based off of that, you don't think that she is the right candidate to represent Nigeria?
Nigeria doesn't have any right candidate there. We don't have any business in these organizations, really.
So if at all they were to pick a right candidate in your eyes, who would that be?
There's no right they pick the right candidate.
In your eyes?
That is the right candidate in my eyes.
In your own eyes?
Somebody that has impoverished us to go and impoverish us from the international setting. I mean, for me, that's the perfect candidate.
Oh, that's so interesting. Anyways, if you are listening, like I did mention, Okonjo-Iweala has made it to the third and the final round, pursuing the role for the DG of the World Trade Organization. What are your thoughts about this? What do you believe that this means for you as a Nigerian? You can join the conversation on Twitter at LagosTalks913 using the hashtag #VPeoplesPerspective, or you could call 0809-234-5913. 0809-222-0913 and also 0809-191-3913. This is coming from Bush Boy saying Nigerians deserve a better life all over and it wouldn't be handed over to us unless we actually take it. Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking, please?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Sam.
All right, let's hear you very quickly, please.
Yeah, I'm an added listener of your program.
All right, thank you so much.
This is my first time of calling through.
Oh, okay, thank
I
you.
appreciate your good work and I appreciate our African nominee for Grammy.
Okay.
I never knew he was nominated for Grammy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I hear you, but you know, that is not my big accomplishment.
I know.
All right, let's get into it. What are your thoughts about the stories that we've shared?
Just like what you said. Did you mean that Okonjo-Iweala just took an American
That was in 2019, by the way.
Our interest is not there. It has to be taken. We don't all these good people, they're just trying, they're losing them to the West. She's representing American interest there. If she wins.
So you think she's representing America's interest because she took the American citizenship of a country that she lived in for over 25 years?
What is Nigeria's take in the World Trade Center?
Okay.
That is very important. What is our take? Aside from winning that.
Sam, wait. It's not even what is our take. Does our opinion matter in those places? Do our opinions matter in those places?
Exactly. That's what I don't think so. Even before she becomes whatever it is there, what is our opinion there and our interest there? It's not until you win something, gain the number one, number two. What's our interest?
All right, thank you very much for your take. Lagos Fox, good morning. Who's speaking?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, son. This is Ogbai from Nkozi.
All right, very quickly, let's hear you. We lost that one. Okay, quickly let us move on to other stories. But yes, you could still join the conversation. Before we open up phone lines again, let's talk about what really is trending, you know, a conversation that is extremely pertinent at the moment, because this could mean a change in the way things have been run, you know, security-wise in Nigeria, but only time will tell. Recently, you know, if you just take a look at what happened over the weekend, we did see that there was a video that appeared on social media showing a team of SARS officials, that is the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of Nigeria, allegedly shooting and killing a young man. This incident took place in Delta State, and this footage of course trended, and in that footage you would see that the members, you know, of SARS actually sped off with the victim's vehicle. Not only that, a bunch of other things did happen. There was a guy that was being assaulted and forced to get into a boat vehicle over the weekend as well, and that trended. And we did see people that were wearing uniforms who allegedly were SARS officials, and this again brought rise to the hashtag End SARS campaign. This is not the first time that we've heard about it. It's something that has been ongoing for a while now. It was muted a bit, you know, until the rise of these videos that we are seeing on social media. Not saying that the police brutality ever stopped, but it just seemed as if the recent videos aggravated, you know, people's want for SARS to be brought to an end. And from what we did see, the Inspector General of Police banned the operatives of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, FSARS, and other tactical squads of the force, including the Special Tactical Squad, the Intelligence Response Team, Anti-Cultism Squad, and other tactical squads operating at the federal, zonal, and command levels from carrying out routine patrols and other conventional low-risk duties, stop and search duties, checkpoints, mounting of roadblocks, and the list goes on and on and on. And they had said, and he said in his words, and I quote, specifically, the IGP has warned the tactical squads against the invasion of the privacy of citizens, particularly through indiscriminate and unauthorized search of their mobile phones, their laptops, and other smart devices. They are to concentrate and respond only to cases of armed robbery, kidnapping, and other violent crimes when the need arises. Now, we did see that a lot of people called out for a protest. We saw at the beginning that Naira Marley did so, and then he cancelled it because he had an Instagram live with the PRO, Frank Mbam. And then we saw others like the Runtowns and Fowles who said, listen, we're going to go out to protest. This is yesterday. We saw it. We saw protests in Abuja. We saw protests in Delta State. We saw protests in Edo as well. We saw protests in Ori. We saw protests in different places with people, especially the youth, coming out to say, you know, the profiling must stop. The killing of the innocent citizens must stop. The fact that we're holding an iPhone or we're wearing dreadlocks doesn't mean that we are criminals. And, you know, their placards said a whole lot of things. We did see that happen. We did see people actually going to different parts of Lagos, not just that, but also sleeping on the road, waiting for a response from the government. We did see authorities actually come over to the protesters to seize their canopies. We saw them seizing their chairs. But this didn't stop the protesters from actually sleeping right there, saying, listen, we're not going to go anywhere. Not only that, the protests did turn violent in Delta State, where we saw that a little boy, that boy cannot be anything more than 12 years old, was shot on his leg. And of course, the narrative right now that is going around is saying there was a peaceful protest, and then some police officer decided to shoot into the crowd, shooting this young boy, sadly, and then the crowd went irate, and this led to the death of another police officer. Now, when that did happen, the IGP released a statement saying that they're not going to tolerate any form of violence again. Saying that they're not going to tolerate any form of abuse, towards their members as well. And so this really is the status of things as regards the protests. So Seun, what are your thoughts about this? Because this is not the first time we've seen protests, but this time it seems like Nigerians are not backing down. Not only that, there's some sort of air of solidarity in different parts of Nigeria. So it didn't just happen in Lagos. Do you believe that this protest is going to be more effective than what we have seen in times past?
Let me tell you what happens here. My family, we are the number one victims of security forces violation and brutality. Meaning that the amount of millions of times they beat my mother, beat my father. My mother used to tell me bedtime stories with scars on her body. Like, so I said, how did you get that one? She said, oh, so where your father went to protest at so and so. Oh, how did you get that one? Oh, this one when they burned down your house, our house, and killed your grandma. So they stabbed me with a bayonet, and so. The brutality of the Nigerian police and army and custom and anybody with a uniform, basically, on the poor people of this country, didn't start today. When I did my live, I told people the story of a man called Isaac Boro, who was a Niger Delta revolutionary. Later, I think he became a member of Nigerian military. I don't really remember his story, but I know he was the first person to agitate against imperialism in the Niger Delta, militarily in modern times, after the initial battles in Bonny and all those places against the Niger Company. But now, in our own modern time, under colonial government, Isaac Boro rose against the practices of Shell, in that area. And do you know the people that Shell paid money to go and quell his rebellion? And fellow Nigerians called the Nigerian military. They're the ones that arrived there with gunboats to decimate their own people on behalf of Shell, an international company. You understand what I'm saying? My father said when they were burning down his house, it was like a huge theater show. He said there were, 1,000 soldiers attacking the house, and 60,000 Nigerians surrounded the whole thing, watching from the bridge, watching from everywhere, this atrocity go down. How many times have people stood by and watched their neighbor brutalized by the police? So, when Fela, when people talk about why Fela was not liked when he was alive by the people, people always say, oh, it's because people did not, No. It was because then Fela was also aggressive against not only the government, but the people of Nigeria. So those songs are not popular because Fela is not yabbing government there. Fela is yabbing us. Songs like Ikoyi Blindness. Songs like Ikoyi versus Mushin. Songs like Johnny Just Drop, Opposite People. Fela did not only, so many Nigerian professionals then shunned him the way they shun me now too, really, and try to, act like if I'm crazy. Because he pointed out those oppressive behaviors in our society that sustains the oppression that comes from the top. You understand? And this is not because we are naturally this way. No. Okay. This is because we have been programmed by our society to believe that this is normal. I keep telling people, from school, in your classroom, there's a slave master-slave relation. School is too late. From our homes, there's a slave and slave master relationship. People think slavery is when you work for free. That is not slavery. The meaning of slavery simply means when somebody else is in control of your existence. That's all slavery means. So from our homes, father to mother, parents to children, is slave master relationship. Even parents, would beat their children in this country because they believe that the child must do what you say. Only a slave must do what you say. But we've normal, this was the relationship, right, that the first civilized Africans had under their missionary organs, the white people that trained them. Because we don't forget that in Africa there was no lawyer, there's no doctor. All these service industry job, we do everything by ourselves, and law is simple. We don't need lawyer to tell the truth in front of the chief or the king. You understand? So many of these people that control our societies today are where they are because of their loyalty to Western system. So that the way that system relates with them is how they thought the system relates with its own people where it's from. So they normalize it. You understand? So there's a slave master relationship where the person with power, you understand, the person with the power must be heard, must be the one that is right, must be feared, must be acknowledged, must be bowed to, must be cowered to, things like that. So in our homes, we abuse our children, abuse our wives, we beat them if they don't do what we say. If we are not happy, we wipe our children. They too, we go to school. Teacher starts beating the children too, because the children, we normalize this relationship in all our, even among friends.
Wow.
Once one friend becomes more successful than another friend, he becomes the chairman of those friends. His power is not because he wants to now look for a way to bring everybody up. No, his power is now because he's better than us. As soon as anybody gets some power, you are better than us. Everybody is better than everybody else. And everybody that's not yet better than everybody else is striving to be better than everybody else. We now get to the point where we as young people that were oppressed begin to make money, and we roll around with Mapo. With Mopo in our car. Now, many of us have security already. Bodyguard that we pay salary. We have, this bodyguard have baton, taser. Is it to go and fight police? No. Is it to fight politicians? No.
For the fellow man.
It's to beat his fellow Nigerians up if they come close. And upon of that, you still not have two Mopo with gun again. So this relationship that we have is what we must end. And I'm happy that we want to start the conversation. So when people now want to reduce this conversation to end SARS, I feel we are doing a great disservice to the poor and forgotten Nigerians, the poor and unrepresented Nigerians, who we have responsibility towards as their brothers and sisters, as those that are where we too are from.
All right, Seun, before you go further, sorry.
No, let me just land on the points I'm really trying to make.
Okay.
So when we want to take a fight, we want to take the fight against this brutality, it must be in its entirety.
Okay.
We cannot say we want to stop the one that affects us while we leave our poor brothers and sisters to the one that they continue to face every day. If we fight and we end SARS today, is it okay that police can still be harassing poor people? Because the narrative I'm hearing is, SARS doesn't like to see young people that have made it. If a young Nigerian is doing well, SARS will come and harass him. So, is that what we want to stop? Or how about the poor people that SARS harass? Not because they have money, but just because they feel like. Slap them, throw them in the bus, police raiding, 50 naira from bus drivers everywhere. All this oppressive behavior of our police force. Is it only the harassing of the rich young people that bothers us? I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that that is what truly we're angry about. I want to believe that we're angry about the entirety of what we experience as Nigerians in the hands of these oppressive forces. I mean, leave Lagos where we are all doing well. Go to the north where it is the military people there. Look at how they are treating Nigerians, man. See, if you look at the way Nigerian army treat Nigerian people in the north, that's why some people go and run to Boko Haram. I'm telling you. So we have to decide, we really have to decide how we want to represent this struggle.
All right. Just before going further on that, because very powerful analogy that you've given. We could clearly see that this is an unending cycle, because if I just take a look back at what you did mention, it then seems as if the oppressed is now becoming the oppressor. And so the oppressed is seeking to gain a certain level of socioeconomic status or just a progress so that they can be protected.
Yes, because that's what has been sold to us.
Society, and then also they would in turn be the oppressor. Now, just taking a look at this unending cycle, because you did mention, this conversation has started. Do you think that the only reason why this cycle has been unending is because of that programming, or does it have anything to do with the naturally selfish nature of man?
No.
People are then seeking to fight only for themselves.
No, I think it is because this is what the elite of our society validates. As I said, it's what they have normalized, right? So they want to so in Nigeria, as I said, in the first topic we were talking about, I talked about our independence struggle. How we, the poor people, fight for everything, and they just come to swoop on it and take the advantage and then leave us to our fate. So if you look at electricity in Nigeria, for example, electricity in Nigeria was the problem of everybody in the 70s. All the working class people were agitating. They used to count the amount of hours NEPA didn't give them light, because there was no light. But as soon as they had opportunity to buy generator that poor man couldn't afford, they abandoned the struggle for constant light in Nigeria. They abandoned the struggle. Now, this is how many years now we are back to light matter. We still don't have lights. In the issue of water, as soon as the rich people of Nigeria could get borehole, you understand? They forgot the struggle that there's no water in Nigeria anymore. As soon as they could send their children to private school, they forgot that the public schools are dwindling and poor people cannot get education. As soon as they could send their children to private schools, private hospital, they forgot that the public hospitals no longer function, and it's your fault that you cannot afford private healthcare. It is your fault that you are poor. You understand? So this is the mindset. So they're selling it to Nigerian youths, and Nigerian youths have bought it that money will save you. But money cannot save you. All man cannot be for himself. Money cannot save you, because really, if money could save you, then in your Benz, why is SARS coming to slap you there? You've made money.
So the system itself is flawed. Okay.
So we have to understand that it is our rugged individualism is a failing of humanity. Capitalism and that rugged individualism is a failing and unsustainable one at that. That's why today everybody is saying going green, climate change, and all of that. Right? Because it cannot sustain. So it is our communal instinct that is going to save us from this oppression. It is us coming together to say we want to end oppression in our society. We want to end oppression completely. Not that we want to, so there's no good security in the country. All the rich people in Nigeria have their own personal mopo. So for that reason now, Nigeria does not need functioning police force. You understand? So now there are rich people that could not afford Mopo are being harassed by another set of Mopo called SARS. Then everybody is complaining. No, we must end all those things in our society that create the unfair advantage that people have over their brothers and sisters.
Just taking a look at the whole protest, because like you made mention, we have to go beyond just asking for the disbandment of SARS itself.
Yes.
Fight against the oppression.
We must end the police brutality in its entirety.
First of all, I believe that, just taking a look at how far Nigeria has come, we can say to an extent, we can see a little bit of progress amongst the people standing up for their rights now, which is a good thing, and we're going to acknowledge that and identify that, right? Now, there are times where people might believe that before we see the long-term change, we should begin to demand first short-term changes. Now, speaking about short-term changes, because just taking a deeper look, and I wish I had the document here just to highlight certain things for you, which I probably would get, taking a look at the objectives from the advocacy groups that are actually leading and backing this protest. It goes beyond just the breaking away of SARS, right? It goes beyond that, because it also talks about police brutality. And like I mentioned, I'll try and get that document to highlight it, right? Now, there is, which I believe is applaudable, an organized nature of this protest, meaning that there is a group that says even when we are done walking the streets of Lagos, we would be the ones to follow up to ensure that these demands are being met. But before a long-term change can be done, does it mean that our brothers and our sisters, our fellow citizens, would be endangered even tomorrow? So what they are looking for right now is, yes, we are demanding this long-term change, but right now we see that there is a large number of there's a large number of unscrupulous activities happening from members of SARS, right? And they're saying, listen, we need you to do something about SARS at the moment, whilst you also not just consider.
See, what I'm saying? Like, I will not support anything that says, "Oh, stop the suffering of the rich now immediately," and then let's consider what we do about the poor.
But how do because SARS,
police brutality,
if you listen to every single bit of the different issues that we've been talking about, especially here on Lagos Talks, the people that are experiencing brutality from SARS are predominantly the common man, not the rich people.
Okay.
Exactly. And so because the guy that is even riding Okada, that is walking on the streets with his laptop going, he's not part of the elite. So he's the common man that is experiencing brutality from SARS.
Exactly. So, right? So that is the point I'm actually making. That is the brutality that extends through the entire security forces of Nigeria. The military is involved. Are you going to end SARS and leave our military to be able to go and do another OD? You know, so I'm saying that we cannot be asking for tokenism from our leaders anymore. We want the right thing. We want the full thing. When these people are in government, you hear them, they give 128 billion to 400 people for 1 year. So they are getting the best. This is what I'm saying. Request the same that is given to them. Police brutality is not something that is hard to stop. For me, simple civil, organized civil disobedience will end police brutality in a week. In a week. All we need to do, as we've given them protest, you know, me too, shout out to Small Doctor today, who is doing a protest on the mainland. If I can make it on time, I want to go and join him. But I've told him we have to elevate, you know, block major points in Lagos that people need to get to work. People need to get to work. Grind the economy to a standstill. If it happens for a week, police brutality will definitely be an issue that will be addressed at its core. Because the core of police brutality is not because SARS wants to beat you. Or the core of police brutality because that is how our police force is trained. That is how our military is trained. That is how customs are trained. All security forces in Africa are trained to protect the interest of the rich against the poor, not to protect society. You know. So even before there was Nigeria, as I was telling you before, Nigerian military and police was formed by white people. Why? To kill other black people, to protest white people' interests. When those white people left, they were told, oh yes, these new black people are now us, you know, so do the same thing but on behalf of these African people.
All right.
So until that changes, we can't see any, we won't really see any.
Yeah, but just taking a look at the bigger picture, like I did mention, from the advocacy groups that are championing this cause, because the truth is, for us to get a more long
sorry, let me just say something. When you said it was affecting the common man, yes.
Of course.
Yes,
it is.
but the reason, as I'm saying, is that it can affect the rich too. That's why they want to stop it first.
But then the rich is going around with their own mobile police. So how is it even affecting them?
Is it all the rich people that can afford mobile police?
But they can buy their way out of the
That's what I'm saying, but they don't want it. So they want to stop the one that can affect them first. No, let's not do that, because just the way light affects everybody, but the rich can go on his diesel generator that will carry all these things now. Okay. But light affects him too. But you know, he has his generator.
Yeah, just taking a look at the protests and you know, the bigger picture. What like I mentioned, what I believe the two major demands are at the moment is the disbandment of SARS and the reformation of the police force. Because honestly speaking, we know that the corruption is deeply rooted. We've heard this time without number that these unscrupulous SARS officials are able to go out confidently because they have.
Why are we saying SARS as if they are not police officers? SARS are police officers, though. But they are police officers. End police brutality and end oppression.
So they are able to go around with a lot of confidence because they know that they have people inside of the force in high-ranking positions who are backing them up. And that's the reason why they're able to go out every single day just oppressing the common man. And so when we take a look at reformation, it means that they have to, bit by bit, identify every part of the police force to identify what the issues are, to begin to uproot the issues from the system.
Yeah, but oppression cannot be reformed.
So what I believe,
it must be stopped, Ni.
So what I believe should be done, based off of what they're fighting for at the moment, is, at the moment, whilst you are talking about reforming the police force, you know, digging deep into the foundation to identify the root cause, which is corruption, and the individuals that are in high-ranking positions that are backing this police brutality, how about you, for the moment, stop this tactical force called SARS? Because we know that tomorrow we're going to get another story that they are oppressing the common man.
That is elitist. Because SARS is the only police force that affects young or old people that are also rich. It is elitist to say, let's face the full problem in this country. I mean, why are we delaying the inevitable? Do politicians delay their own enjoyment? This is what I keep asking. Politicians, I mean, the people that are enjoying this country, are they delaying any kind of gratification? No, they are taking the most that they can take right now. And you are telling us to settle for NSAS. We can't settle for NSAS.
But they're going beyond that. That's not the only thing they're fighting for.
Right now, everything we want it now. It is now. It is a now thing. I'm 37 years old now. I'll be 38 in about 3 months. My father has died. He lived for 58 years. He has died doing this. My grandmother has died. They threw out of a window doing this. So when I hear people saying this, I'm like, that's how I understand that people don't really understand the scope of what is going on. There is no reforming this system. There's no reforming anything. Let me tell you, when the killing of Nigerian people started arbitrarily, they used to call them, Mopo was called kill and go. Mopo was the first SARS. We were, okay, we'll reform Mopo. Mopo is not allowed to do this anymore. They pack all of them, put come off aside. They brought Operation Sweep in Lagos. Operation Sweep, call sweeping Nigerians. Innocent people. Operation Sweep is gone. There's SARS. So, listen, there's no reforming oppression. It's either you want to end it or you don't want to end it. And that is what keeps happening. Different things that oppress poor people. Rich people join the struggle when it affects them, finds a way to remove their own part of the problem. Then suddenly all of us, people abandon the poor. So
now you're talking about what we want now. Because you're saying there's no reformation.
There's no reformation of oppression.
Because the truth is we need security.
Yes, so we need it. So all we have to do is to tell the IG that we, the people of Nigeria, will not take it anymore. If they cannot end it on their own, we will end it for them.
But wouldn't you end through a form of reformation?
In our communities, we will not let their policemen come and abuse us anymore. It's simple. Every community should donate, every building in every community should donate 2 young men, or 1 young man and 1 young woman, or 2 young women to be a part of a anti-SARS force in the community. Case closed. If the SARS cannot legitimately explain why it is harassing anybody, we will stand up to them. Finish. They are powerless. Other than that, what can they do? So
I believe that
what we are doing
has to go beyond just.
What we are doing is taking the power that we have and giving it to our oppressor. This is not the one we want them to help us to do. What we want them to help us to do is to change the culture. So that is something. SARS, na police officer, has been trained to collect order. SARS cannot abuse and extort people on the street if he's not giving kickback to his oga in the office. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So the oga in the office is the IG you are going to meet is complicit in the action of SARS. The IG you are going to meet, the AIG you are going to meet is complicit in the actions of SARS. He cannot scold SARS boys because SARS boys say, Oga, we no return, Oga, you mean what you tell us? So let us not play this game with our lives. It's our lives. Let's not play the game.
So if we want a longer last, listen. What I'm actually trying to highlight at the moment is this: if we as a people want a longer lasting effect and change in the system, what is the process? Because you saying that we're telling the police the police force, it ends now, it stops now.
Now,
at the end of the day,
we are telling them we are going to stop it now.
Fantastic. Can I finish? Because at the end of the day, we still need security.
Yes.
We still need the police force.
Yes.
If the police force is not reformed, if they don't reform the recruitment, if they don't reform the training of its members, do you think that us just going out there to say it stops now actually lasts?
We are not stopping police. We are stopping police brutality.
But then, do you think that the root and the foundational solution for that
is a cultural change
and reformation?
Not reformation.
But
culture,
reformation
a change in culture. A change in culture.
If the right people, if the police officials are
because
not trained,
there is no reforming oppression.
If the recruitment process and the training process.
Can you give me an example of a reformed police force that worked, or reform any kind of oppressive institution that was reformed and kept working? There's no example.
Fantastic. But I still stand by the fact that if we want a longer lasting change, what we need to do is to identify what the cause is, bit by bit, begin to create solution for it. Because if
that is the thing that will come to your mind first, then for no reason are you saying reform cannot change that. So if you reform the police, how about the army?
We're talking about the police at the moment.
No, but they are all brutalizing us now.
Indeed.
And people have the right, people have the power to stop it. And they refuse to.
An overhaul of these systems in Nigeria. So what I'm saying is that the police force will still exist. We need the system overhauled. Because even if we bring members of community to resist police brutality, if the recruitment process is flawed, we will still have the same people, and it will be.
But they will not be brutalizing us anymore. They will not be brutalizing us anymore.
So let's what we should do is that our resolve should be that the solution is multifactorial. Yes, there should be a change in culture. There should also be a change in the police system.
Of course.
It's multifactorial. So we can't say reforming or an overhaul of the system is not imperative. It is imperative.
But the change of culture is the power that they have. The power to end oppression is with us, the people. We cannot take our power and give to them. We have the power to end police brutality, is what I'm saying. The people have the power on their own. So what we should be asking them is a change in the culture that makes anybody that feels that they have power over us want to use that power to abuse us. That is what we want from them. Tell your people that we will not take it anymore, while we are also organizing ourselves to make sure that what we are telling them is true. Because that is the whole point. If that's not the point, if you think that your oppressor is going to change his way for any reason, why that thing still benefits him, for you to now feel better, I mean, it is not going to happen. It is a pipe dream. It is the pipe dream that we have been having for centuries in Africa. You know, people will always tell you, oh, you do the same thing and you expect different results. It means you are crazy. But here we are, we've been praying to our oppressors for 60 years. We've been doing it over and over again, but we don't see that as crazy.
Well, it's 3 minutes past 12. We need to wrap this up. What we believe, based off of all that has been said and based off of what is going on, that the protest has to go beyond just demanding SARS should end.
Yeah, definitely.
Go way beyond that.
It is way beyond. It is even way beyond it already.
In order for the entirety of policing in Nigeria,
we are telling the police people of Nigeria that they are African people, supposedly, and they must protect. That's their job first. Protecting us. You are not our master. You are not the employees of our masters. We are nobody's slaves anymore. We are free people. We must be able to express our freedom. And if anybody in Nigeria or in Africa, at least for now, doesn't believe that black people are free and can express themselves how they want, then that person must be not only protested against, but fought against. I mean, just because you tell a policeman, I don't want to answer you, or I'm not stupid, they start to beat you up. That means that they think you're a slave, that you don't have the right to express yourself. It goes deeper than brutality or extortion. It's because they don't believe that the African people have the right to speak in their own land. They still believe the colonial training of their masters, that their elites validate with the poverty that they put in our society. The shaming of the poor in this society. It's all part of it. So those are the things that we must change. Not only NSAS.
We need to wrap this up. The news is about to come on. A big thank you to everyone who was a part of this. Seun, as always, thank you for coming.
No, it's my pleasure. It's time for the news, but
yeah.
I think we have eaten into somebody's time.
Sure have.
People are looking
guys,
down
this
here.
happens Fridays, 11 a.m. Best believe we're going to be dissecting all the pertinent topics trending for the week. So stick around for the news.
All our TPP thanks, so.
The nation
Reform, K. That's what they've been telling us in America too. They've been reforming police. I don't want to use America as an example. Those who have been reforming police since the end of slavery. I say since the time of slavery, they don't reform police for that side. Since the time of slavery.